folks, it's Shell Fowler here, and today I wanted to go ahead and do a technique that I like to do in order to have an image pop on a project that is just something different. So we're going to be using a tape off method, and I like to use the Tim Holtz tissue tape for this. I have some handy and that's what I like to use. But you could use painter's tape, you could use washi tape, whatever works for you. Like I said, today I'm going to use the tissue tape. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and do some watercoloring with distress markers and the blueprint stamps from the Tim Holtz line with Stampers Anonymous. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my broom here from the brand new Halloween Blueprints number 3. And to do this, I am using the Ranger Ink Archival ink in jet black. And I'm going to be using a tag today, just because it's easy, and I do like the way that it watercolors. Clean off my stamp here. And I went ahead and already stamped the other images. The candy corn is from the mini blueprints number 7, and the hat comes with the broom in that blueprints Halloween set. So I do like to heat set with my heat tool when I'm using the archival ink right before I do my watercolor, because I use a lot of water and I just like to make sure that it's ready to receive all that. So I will be using the distress markers from Tim Holtz and also a water brush. So let's just get started. So I like to go in and add a little bit of ink to start with, and then just kind of spread it around just to get kind of a base. And I'll do the same down here. And then let's go in. That was antique linen, and then I'm going to go in with some gathered twigs. Don't take yourself too seriously when you're coloring, just have fun with it. And I do a lot of layering when I do this. So this is just kind of the base coat. Alrighty. And then at this point I like to scribble and use my mat as kind of a palette, and then just add some more layers. And oftentimes I will use a towel to kind of soak up some of that water, keep it kind of from spreading. I notice I'm kind of concentrating the color on one side, leaving that other side kind of bright. And again, go in with the dark, kind of more in the shadows, and pull it out. I'm just using lots of water like that, those little puddles, to kind of water down my paint as it kind of goes out from that darkness. We'll go back. I kind of let that dry and go back to the other area. And then I just like to give a little bit of a darker in here. I'm not going to get too carried away today with the coloring, because we are kind of concentrating on that technique with the tape. But there is some dark shadow kind of going in. I find like when you do that kind of darkness, it makes your lighter kind of pop out. Maybe a little more right there. And a little bit darker shadow here. While we're at it, let's just do the broom up here. That kind of fade out. Alrighty, like I said, nothing too fancy, just some quick coloring. Alrighty, and then I do want to do some shadowing, so I am going to go in with pumice stone and scribble that on my mat as well. And I'm just going to kind of play around and give some shadow. Like I said, not taking myself too seriously, not getting too involved. Just doing a real quick color job here. Get some of that excess off there. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and color up the rest of our images and let that one dry. Again, I'm just doing a real quick job with my coloring. Okay, folks, as you can tell, I've gone ahead and fast forwarded some of this coloring. It's all using the same techniques on the hat that I did on the broom. You are going to notice that I will use the heat tool to dry certain areas. If I've oversaturated an area with water when I was blending, it just works better if you go ahead and dry it, and then you can continue layering that color. And I'm just going to keep on coloring, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. I'll set that aside. I'm going to be cutting that out, so I am not going to do any shadowing around that. And let's just get quickly through these. Am I the only one that ever has to stop and think about when it's not Halloween time what color goes where? Because I always wanted to do white, yellow, orange, but that orange actually goes in the middle. I always want to put it on the bottom. So we're all colored up, we're ready to go. These you're going to see when I put the card together at the end, so I'll just set those aside. But we want to do our masking technique. So what I'm going to do is take my tissue tape, and I want it to have that torn edge on it. So I'm going to put it where I want that edge to color my image, and this is why we wanted it to be dry. And I'm just going to rip it, and I'm going to again cover up, sorry, not color. Cover up any of my image that I don't want to be inked, and I want those torn edges. That's kind of what makes this look kind of cool when it's all done, is that torn edge. Now I will tell you that sometimes I do like to go in, instead of having a torn edge, to have more of a decorative edge, if you will, and so a lot of times I will go in with my serrated edge here on my tissue tape holder here, and I will just take that tape and cut it with that, and when I place it on the paper, it ends up with that kind of serrated edge, and I think that's kind of cool as well. So I don't want to really press this on too hard because I am going to be peeling this up, and depending on the stickiness of your tape, you don't want that to peel up your paper. So when you remove this, you're going to want to be careful. I'm going to go in with my stinking cute little baby mini Distress ink pads. And I'm just going to ink up the background. So I will start with my spiced marmalade. And I'm just going to go ahead and start inking my tag. I'm going to come back to that, so I'll leave it there. And that was Seedless Preserves, and now I'm going to go in with some Gathered Twigs. Kind of blending those colors together. Right, and then I don't know why, this is just how I do it. You might have your own techniques that you like, but this is what I like to do. I kind of go back over those areas and blend them again, and it kind of darkens the edges. I like that look. So I just go back and blending again. I don't worry if the tape comes up a little bit, because when I swirl onto that, it'll be fine. Alrighty. And we will put this one away. We're all done with that. Let's go in with our seedless preserves. I love these minis. A lot of people said, yeah, they're cute, but how handy is this? Oh, I just love it. And this round tool is fantastic. It doesn't show any of those. Notice the flap I was talking about that I'm going to kind of go over. How convenient is this? It's pretty ridiculous. I do like to hold the tool down when I pull this off, just so I don't pull up that Velcro though. Super easy, super convenient, and cute. Who doesn't love that? And then when I do that last layer of gathered twigs, I am just going to ink the entire background on the edges. Alrighty, there we have it. Okay, so before I peel this off, I want to do a little bit more work on that background. I want to, first I want to do a little spritz and flick. So I'm going to spray a little water, flick it here and there, and then I just take up the excess with my towel and then heat dry it. I'm sure you folks saw, but I did not see what I did to get that little spot right there, but not to worry, it's going to get covered up. I'm not concerned. Imperfections sometimes are really a great little thing. So you want to be careful when you're heating that, because you don't want to heat up the tape too much, because you want it to peel up easily. So just be mindful not to overheat. Now I'm going to take a couple of stencils from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to use Shatter, and I'm just going to put that in the corner there and take some black soot, Distress ink, and I just want to give, whoa, dog barking and dropped my ink blending tool. That's Sydney. Oh, Sydney. And do a little spider web in that corner, and then maybe down here in this corner. And there we go. Alrighty. Get rid of that. And then I want to go in, and I think I'll actually do the words after I peel off the tape, so let's peel that tape off. And you want to go slow. You don't want it to peel up your paper, so you want to just take it kind of slow, kind of peel up your edges. Again, I would practice with this depending on what type of tape you use and how sticky it is, what kind of adhesive it is. I find tissue tape works really well for this. Isn't that cool? So you get those kind of jagged edges going along, and you could play around with what kind of a mask you use. You could actually die cut tissue tape, just stick it onto something that it will peel off of, like wax paper or even vellum, and run it through your die with your die, and then when you use it as a mask like this, then you'll just get kind of something cool. So it kind of makes the image pop. I like that. It almost looks like it's done on top of masking tape, and I like the look. So now I want to go in and do a couple words and add my other images. So that's the technique. I will come back at the end and show you the final product. But that is the tissue tape masking technique that I use to make images pop on a card. Okay folks, as promised, I am back with my finished project here. And what I went ahead and did was mask off with, again, that tissue tape because I had it handy. Masked off the word wicked. I used my mini distress pad in black soot, the ink blending tool, the mini version, and I went ahead and inked wicked. I adhered my other images that I had cut out with some foam tape and just had those kind of pop off. And just in a few spots I kind of leave things so that they could curl up and that type of thing. I added some linen ribbon and some string jute, and that is my completed project. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I certainly did. It's a learning experience, so hopefully I'll be back soon with more fun tutorials for you. Thank you!